Yo guys, it's Mike from Chess Lifestyle, and today we are training 46 minutes. And yeah, basically I'm playing in the Dortmund Open right now. Last couple of days I haven't really had time to do some proper training, so I've just been doing some small vlogs. But yeah, so far it's been going really well. I mean, I'm on 2 out of 2, and I've played up both rounds. And yesterday's game was actually a really fantastic game. Like I don't know, like I used so many of my skills, like my opening knowledge, my middle game understanding, my practical understanding, my experience, and the cherry on top was I got to this winning position, and then I needed to calculate the correct win. Actually, there were 2 moments where precise, correct calculation was required, and I managed to find the best move in both cases and win the game as a result. So yeah, I've already thanked Frizz on private message, but again, like really this improving my tactical ability overnight video, like this really paid off here. So yeah, okay, chess results is saying I've got a 2980 ELO performance rating. But of course, yeah, it always glitches like that when you don't have any losses or draws. But yeah, basically I'm not going to deep this too much, and just try and play my best chess again. So actually I've done my prep already for today against my IM opponent. So yeah, all we can do is just try and get a bit sharp, do some puzzles. And I don't know if I will do the full 46 minutes today. I mean, as you're aware, like I'm playing a tournament, so I'm gonna get my definitely over 46 minutes of chess training in, if you count playing chess as training, which I would. But okay, let's give this a go. Also, my friend Sven might join the stream at some point. Just a heads up. But okay, let's solve this. I need some water. First things first. Alright, so we're still on Alexander Alyakin. Right, so what's the situation? So there's White has 2 knights against a knight and a bishop. We have equal pawns, equal pawn structure, except the pawn is on g6. Our knight on f5 is being attacked, but one big difference is the king's safety, right? Our king is castled behind some pawns, Black's king is on e8 and even 2 moves away from castling, right? Like, Black needs to develop the bishop and then castle. So definitely, you get the feeling that there might be some tactic. Also, the knight on e5 might be vulnerable to a move like f4, although actually there's no f4 right now because of this pin. So okay, these are important things to note. Maybe the rook is hanging, but yeah, it's going to be to do with this open file on the Black king. So what candidates do we have? We've got knight d6, we've got knight f6, we've got the other knight to d6, we've got knight g7, we've got queen b5. Any other checks? And even if they look ridiculous, like queen b5, like I'm going to look at it anyway, just in case. Even if it doesn't make sense in the position, because it's forcing, it needs to be looked at. Any captures? Surprisingly, there are no captures in this position. Okay. Any threats? God, the way I'm like wording the questions, I feel like I'm playing a game of Guess Who, if anyone knows the game. It's like, any checks, any threats, any glasses, any freckles? Okay, never mind. What to do? any threats in this position. Maybe rook e1, but it's a bit slow. King h1 to play for f4, very slow. And I mean, our knight is being attacked, right? So, like, moves that move the knight probably should be considered, but there aren't really any, like, safe retreating moves that look too appealing, like knight e3 or knight g3 kind of feels like it's too slow again. So, okay, let's look at all of our checks. So let's start with queen b5, just because it's the only queen check and we can get it out of the way. So queen b5, queen takes b5. Maybe there's knight d6 ideas, but the problem is there's bishop takes, knight takes, rook takes, and we've just lost everything. So then that suggests maybe it's not that, and we need to go for a knight. So okay, if knight e to d6, bishop takes. We've got knight takes d6, we've also got knight g7. Yeah, tough to say. I'm wondering if, like, somehow by moving the knight e to d6 or f6 or something, we reveal an attack on the knight on e5, right? So this might be useful. So if knight d6 and rook takes d6, for instance, then probably queen takes e5 check is a very strong move, because not only do we check, we pick up the rook on h8. So knight e d6, that probably forces bishop takes, in which knight takes, but then queen takes protects the knight on e5. So that doesn't quite work. What about knight f to d6? Is it the same? Bishop takes d6, knight takes, queen takes, and it's the same. I mean, it could be worth looking longer there, like knight e d6, bishop takes, knight takes, queen takes, and like rook d1 ideas, but even just like queen e6 or something, really don't feel like we've quite got enough there. Unless suddenly queen b5 check then becomes a very, very strong idea. But we are a piece down, so I'm not so sure. So what about knight f6? Knight f6 check. This is actually very forcing. It forces queen takes f6. And is there a nice follow-up? Queen b5 check still doesn't do anything, I think. They can just block, like knight c6 or something. Then we've got like rook e7. It looks promising in some ways. It looks promising. Knight f6, queen b5. Because the point is they can't go queen c6 to block, because then I've got queen takes e5 and I pick up the rook on h8. So knight f6, queen b5. What if they block with the rook on d7? Maybe that's just fine. Like, it appeared more promising than I initially thought, but it still feels like it can't work. And what other checks did I have? Like, I need to look at all my candidates. So knight g7 as well was a check, but then just bishop takes g7 and it doesn't feel so hopeful. So we've gone through all of our checks, there was no captures, and we didn't really have any threats here. Like, very slow threats like rook e1 and king h1. So what are we missing? Did we look at knight fd6 properly? Maybe knight fd6, now the knight's no longer attacked. If bishop takes, we can go knight takes, queen takes. Yeah, it doesn't feel like we've got something there. I'm going to look at knight e d6 again, because that revealed an attack on their knight. If bishop takes, knight takes, queen takes. There's also a timer at the bottom, and that's ticking down. So at some point I'm going to have to make a decision on the move, even if it's incorrect. I wonder if I'm missing any other ideas. I mean, ultimately, I need to make a move at least that doesn't, like, blunder material. Probably knight f6 looks the most promising, but in a game, probably I just have to make some retreating move. And maybe at this point I should have already had a backup, so I'm not just, like, panicking and playing something last second. Which it looks like is going to be the case. Unless we go all in with knight f6, but don't feel like we can. Maybe I should have looked at this knight ed6, bishop takes, queen b5 a bit better, but I really couldn't see it. Yeah, so given the time is about to run out, I think we need to make a move that doesn't lose a piece. So I think I would just play this, which of course is incorrect. Are you kidding me? Oh, are you kidding me? Queen b5, queen takes, knight f6 mate. I even saw knight f6 was mate in the sense that knight f6 forced queen takes f6, but I couldn't join the dots there. Ah, that's really annoying. So I think what I should have done there was I did like a shallow calculation of each of the lines, and I needed to do a thorough calculation on each of the candidates once I'd got stumped, because the answer didn't come out immediately, and I did start doing a thorough calculation, but I didn't go back to all of my moves. Like I dismissed this queen b5 just because, you know, it's sacrificing a queen. I didn't feel like it's got enough here. But yeah, it's really weird how I actually messed this up, because I was looking at these knight d6, knight f6 options all the time. And somehow, maybe it's because I started with queen b5. Like, had I started with knight d6 or knight f6, then I think I would have understood that, you know, if I started with knight f6, and I saw that that was mate except for queen takes f6, and only later did I look at queen b5, I probably would have got this, because I already have knight f6 as a theme. I think just starting with queen b5 just completely messed me up, because I started with queen b5 as almost a way to kind of dismiss the move, because I wanted to get it out the way, right? That's how I worded it, right? I was like, oh, this is the only check with the queen, let's just get this out the way. Like, I wasn't giving it a fair assessment. So I think maybe then with calculation, it's important to then probably look at the more critical moves first, like this knight d6 and knight f6. Try and understand that, and then use that extra knowledge to then be able to help you with these moves, even if it is nice to try and dismiss moves, just in case the move is actually very strong. So yeah, that's a really interesting situation. Right, so that means they can't take the queen, but then black's coordination is even worse. And now, okay, let's find the actual win. Okay, so let's do this properly. I mean, I'm just trying to pick at straws, and I feel like knight f6 might be good, but let's do this properly. So we've got knight f6, we've got knight d6, we've got queen e5, which obviously makes no sense, just losing the queen. Then captures, we've got queen takes b6, maybe queen d7. So yeah, here, I mean, knight f6 check needs to be looked at first, because it forces queen takes f6. And then we've got rook e1. And that would force bishop blocks on e7, rook takes e7, queen e7, knight e7, king e7. And we have this imbalance of queen against rook and knight. But we also pick up a pawn, and also their king is weak. So I think that's enough to be able to safely play this move with confidence. Okay, this is alternative, so that means it's actually something even stronger, or at least equal strength. Maybe knight e to d6 in the sense that if bishop takes... Well, and bishop takes seems alright. Maybe queen takes b6 in the sense that the knight can't take because of knight f6 is still checkmate. And queen b6, a b6? What's the follow-up there? Oh man, this is so tough. This is why we need to do some exercises in the morning, otherwise we're gonna be hopeless playing an IM later. I mean, queen b6, a b6, knight d6, bishop takes, knight takes, king e7 or king f8, and you pick up the pawn on b7. Doesn't look amazing, but it looks alright. Why can't I do this? I mean, knight f6 was already an alternative, so maybe that's like I've kind of... At least I've found one acceptable answer, which is nice. I have no idea. I literally have no idea. I mean, I tried knight f6 and this was alternative. I don't really see another move that also works. Yeah, I don't want to waste more time on this. I'm just going to go with something. Yeah. Oh, rook e1. Bruh. I mean, I guess, yeah, this is a threat, and maybe I should have accepted the fact that, yeah, actually nothing works. Like, trust my calculation, and then be like, okay, I need to make some slow move. But yeah, knight f6. And rook e1 this way. What did I have planned instead? Oh, I did plan rook e1. I just played rook fe1. Bishop e7, rook takes... Okay, it's the same. Wow, king f8 is a surprising move, and queen b4 needs to be fine. Okay, so maybe this is actually, yeah, more difficult, and therefore rook fe1 or rook ae1 is just completely winning. Yeah, this was really tricky. How did the game go yesterday? Did it go well? Yes, it did. I managed to beat 2250, and I've submitted my game for Brilliancy Prize, which apparently there's one for every round. So we'll see if it makes it. Who knows? But yeah, this was a really nice result, and actually, yeah, I've linked my Dortmund results on the description, so you guys can follow if you like. But yeah, I'm on 2 for 2, and that means I'm playing an IM this round. So yeah, gonna be exciting. And I've got some prep prepared, which of course not gonna mention on stream. Yeah, let's give this a go. Okay, I'm gonna do some thinking in my head while I eat this banana. Thanks, Josh. Okay, so let's discuss the evaluation. So in this position, we're actually in exchange down. We've got a bishop for a rook. In terms of material, we actually have the bishop pair as well, worth noting. Also, not only are we in exchange down, our rook on f6 is very vulnerable. It's being attacked twice. But what else to note? Basically, the black king feels way weaker than the white king. We've got potential sacrifices on the cards. Also, their queen on d7 maybe could be vulnerable to a fork. We've also got a knight in the position. It should be noted that our bishop on c4 is also being attacked by the knight on e5. Also, black's rook on a8 is completely out of play. So, in terms of this attack, I feel like we're actually, in actual material, we're an exchange down, but they don't have a rook. So what does that mean? I can't do the math. So we're down by 2 points, but then up by 5. So we're up a piece, basically, in this position, like momentarily. Okay, so what candidate moves do we have? We've got queen h7. That's our only check, surprisingly. What about any captures? We've got rook takes f7, rook takes d6. Okay. Any threats that can disrupt the enemy's position? Maybe we can play rook h6. Maybe play knight e7. Maybe play bishop h6. Yeah, surprisingly, there's not actually too many candidate moves. I thought there might be more. So, okay, I'm not going to check. Oh, no, okay, Josh's comment isn't about the game, about the position, so let me read it. I got another book, Gwaine Jones' E4 repertoire. He's recommending 2 knight c3 versus the Sicilian, and I looked at the PDF sample and I really like the look of it. I can also reconsider my lines versus the Scandinavian. Ah, cool. Yeah, I know that Gwaine Jones is a big fan of the Grand Prix attack. I think he actually has a book on the Grand Prix. So that's cool that he's sticking to his guns and recommending the Grand Prix. And actually the Grand Prix is an opening where, okay, it looks maybe quite difficult to make work like this attack, but there's actually a lot of scenarios where black defends adequately and the game becomes very positional, and if you know what you're doing with the white pieces, then you can really get a nice advantage. My former coach Nicola plays a lot of Grand Prix attack, and yeah, I also tried like some ideas from it. Yeah, and it's quite nice. It's quite nice. Okay, so what's going on here? So okay, let's look at queen h7. Queen h7, king h7 is forced. Do we have any follow-up? Rook h6 check. Pawn takes h6. There's no knight f6 fork anyway because there's a knight on e8. Yeah, it doesn't look so good. Okay, we'll come back to it later if it's worth it. The captures, rook f7. I don't know. Rook takes f7. Maybe got knight f6 ideas, but then pawn takes f6, bishop takes f6, knight f6. It just feels like we're running out of ammunition. Rook takes d6 doesn't make any sense. Literally doesn't make any sense. Knight takes d6, and what have we achieved? So maybe it's one of the threats. Okay, let's look at rook h6. Rook h6 threatens rook h7, and then rook h8 checkmate. So rook h6. Let's assume for 1 second pawn takes h6 is necessary. Maybe there we can go bishop f6 check. And if they don't play king g8 and they play... Oh, for the record, okay, if rook h6, pawn h6, bishop f6, king g8, we've got knight e7 check. And that forces black to sacrifice the queen, so that's good. So if rook h6, pawn h6, bishop f6, that would force then knight takes f6. Then we can go knight takes f6, hitting the queen. And they can go queen e7. And then we can go queen takes h6. And how on earth do they defend h7? I don't think they can. That looks really promising, right? Rook h6. Pawn h6, bishop f6, knight f6, knight f6. Yeah, looks completely winning. There's no way you can defend. So okay, perfect. Bishop f6, knight f6, and queen h6. Oh, okay, they even sacrificed the queen. Perfect. Yeah, nice. So that's an example of where the shallow calculation worked out really well. Like, I didn't dwell on a single line too much, tunnel vision it, kind of just scanned everything, and yeah, found my solution. So that's good. Okay, maybe let's do one final one. Like, probably not gonna get 46 minutes done today, but yeah, we've got a match against an IM coming up, and I still need to eat lunch and whatnot. So this is already a good warm up. Welcome, Frizz. It's good. Life is good. I'm on 2 for 2 in the Dortmund Open, and actually this tactical calculation was required. And yeah, that earned me the win. So yeah, if not for this recent development of my tactics, I don't think I'm winning that game. So yeah, big game for me. And yeah, now we have the honor of playing an IM who's actually over 400 points higher than me. So this is like all to gain, nothing to lose kind of situation. But yeah, I'm feeling good. Tell me you beat the IM. We haven't played yet. Like my games are starting at 3 p.m. So yeah. I also don't think Germany is free elo. I mean, the games I've played were absolutely intense, and I don't think my opponents were overrated. I think I just played a great game of chess twice. So that helps. But like, yeah, I really don't think that my chess is any better compared to like last week. Maybe a tiny bit better in the sense that I'm not rusty, right? Like, I've just played 9 games straight, and then, you know, I'm kind of like on form in the flow. So yeah, maybe I had a bit of luck there that my opponents probably aren't like as warmed up as someone who just played 9 games of classical in a row. So I think like, yeah, these factors mattered more than like Germany's free elo or something like this. I don't think that's the case. Also, I met Yevgeny, but I didn't actually speak to him. I mean, he was playing his game, but I now know who he is. So he hasn't been on the stream for a while, but yeah, it was cool to see that he was playing. Couldn't believe my eyes when I saw 2 out of 2. Yeah. Can I see your games? Yeah, at some point I'll have to show them. I mean the game I played yesterday was fantastic. Like, really sweet game. Like, just outplayed him so well in terms of like a practical sense as well. Like, really understood what kind of game he wanted and managed to make sure that he doesn't get that kind of game and these kind of factors, right? Like, yeah, really nice stuff. And I think that's why I'm good at playing juniors, because like I can kind of suss out like what aspect of their chess they're lacking and then try and like exploit it, which doesn't really work against stronger players, but against weaker, less rounded players who are very talented in certain areas. I mean, he had 2,900 online ratings. So objectively he's the better player, but if we're just talking about a sample size of 1 where I can really try and like max out all of my practical benefits, then yeah, there's definitely a chance. Okay, I've been procrastinating. Let's actually solve this. So I've got bishop pair against knight and bishop. Material is equal, but the pawn structure is slightly different. It's a 4v3, 2v1. The queens are eyeing each other up. Actually, both queens are hanging. No, that's not true. There's a knight on e5 protecting the queen on f7. So anything else to note? Bishop and rook are targeting the knight on e5, which might become quite crucial given that it's the sole defender of the queen on f7. There's also some tension between the bishop on f5 and the knight on d7. Also, the queen is pressuring f5. Also, the rook on f1 is on the line of the queen. All of this is happening. And also, my laptop is going to run out of charge, so let me fix this up. Okay, hopefully I'm quick enough to do this. I kind of told myself I'd stop the stream when my laptop runs out, but wait a sec. think this is going to be really close, whether I clutch it in time. Okay, let's go. Bruh. It's going to be so close. Let's go. Think. Yeah, now it's charging. Sweet. Okay, so I've got a very awkward setup because yeah, this flat is actually just quite awkward in general. The plug sockets and stuff are not quite thought out too well. But okay, let's just solve this one and then we'll call it a day. So now I need chat again. 1 sec. Okay, I'm not going to check chat in case there's spoilers. Okay, so what checks do we have? What captures? What threats? Okay, we've understood the position as well. So we've got bishop takes d7 check. We've also got some captures. We've got bishop e5, we've got queen f7. I don't think the captures on h6 are going to be in time. Maybe knight d5, but probably not. I mean, our queen is literally hanging, right? So, yeah, and then what about threats? Maybe queen h3 is a threat, like we save the queen, put more pressure on d7. Maybe bishop g6 is a threat, like it hits the queen. Okay, we need to calculate knight takes g6, of course. But okay, so let's have a look at these moves. So if bishop takes d7, the first thing to note is the knight can't take back because then they lose the queen on f7. So bishop takes d7. If the king were to move to b8 or something, or just move away, we could go queen takes f7, knight takes f7, and just win a rook, or wear at least a piece up, so that's great. So bishop takes d7, it forces then either king takes or queen takes. If bishop takes d7 and king takes, I think we've got the move rook takes e5, because if they try and take our queen, now the rook defends, and we can go rook takes h5. So yeah, and if bishop takes, king takes, rook takes e5, and they take our rook, then we win their queen, right? Because the knight on e5 was the only defender. So that means on bishop takes d7, queen takes d7 is forced. In which case, we now have 3 attackers on the knight, and they only have 2 defenders. So we just go bishop takes e5, bishop takes, rook takes, queen takes, and we're just out of piece. So yeah, we got it. And it's alternative. Are you kidding me? This is so annoying. Move spoiler, yeah, bishop d7, queen d7, bishop e5, bishop e5, rook e5 wins a piece. Yep, I agree. So that's really frustrating. And to be honest, screw this. I don't wanna solve. Maybe I'll just solve it. Fine. I mean, we literally proved that bishop d7 is literally winning. And Woodpecker annoyingly is not having any of it. Maybe we can start with rook takes e5 actually, because on queen takes h5 we can throw in bishop takes d7 and pick up the queen, and I think that way we also win a piece. And yeah, rook takes e5. There's no knight takes e5 because the knight is pinned. So okay, this also works. But I don't know why you would ever do it this way around. This feels like so less. It feels more risky, right? Because the first move isn't a check. So yeah, alternative my ass, exactly. But yeah, this one. I mean, I felt like the theme had to be right, so it was just about like seeing if there was a different move order. That also worked. Yeah. What are people saying? Meet me on Sunday? Reply on Lichess? Honestly, Jan, I don't get your messages on Lichess. Like, I've checked my messages recently, unless... Okay, actually, no, maybe I have been erring you because I saw a link or something, and if I see a link, then it means like I'm gonna have to spend time looking at it, and I don't have the time. So, okay, I'll check your message, Jan, hopefully on Sunday. What day is it today? Oh, Sunday, the final round, I see. Okay, yeah, we can, yeah, absolutely. I hope we can meet up. Yeah, exactly, 2900 online, probably that's my strongest win ever, right? To beat someone who's 2900 online. Kocht auch nur mit Wasser. He only cooks with water, meaning he's human and makes mistakes. That's an interesting phrase. I'll need to remember that. Are you in an Airbnb? Yes, in an Airbnb. Yeah. Okay, so on that note, guys, I think I'm gonna call it a day. Oh, maybe I should show the game. Ah, no, I shouldn't show the game. I've got a match to play. So yeah, one day I will show the game at some point. Just say where and when. Okay, I'll let you know, Jan. That sounds good. But okay, on that note, I'm gonna call it a day. And yeah, thanks for tuning in as always. And yeah, wish me luck for this match today. Okay, see you guys around. Bye.